All right, so once you log in, you're going to go ahead and start the program called Fusion. So you're going to look for this icon, has a little F on it, a little 360. That's Fusion 360. You're going to double click on it, and it's going to start. It will take a while to start. Fusion is not a quick program to start. So once it does start, you're going to get something that looks like this. So here's your first little Fusion screen. You are probably going to need to log in the first time when you go in. And once you do log in, you're going to have your little initials shown up here in the top right corner. And that's going to show that you are logged into Fusion. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and close this if this came up. We'll worry about that here in just a little bit. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start on the drawing. So we're going to come up here. The first thing you do is in this top left corner, which is Create Sketch. So we're going to click on that, Create Sketch. And you're going to create the sketch. These are showing the different planes. This is your front plane. This is your right side plane. And this is your top plane. We're going to start the drawing in the top plane. So you're going to click on that plane right there to start your drawing out. Notice the highlights and click. All right, once you're there on that top plane, we're going to go ahead and draw a shape. Our shape's going to be a simple square shape. So we're going to come up here to where it says Create. Now, you can put a square here, pick a square here, but I don't like the 2-point rectangle. I like this other option a little bit better. I've started using this here recently. So we're going to go under Create, come down to your rectangle, hover over it, and then go over to a center rectangle. So click on the center rectangle. It saves us a step here in just a bit. It makes things a little bit easier. So center rectangle, click. You're going to start this rectangle right here on this point in the center. That is called your origin. Click there, and drag a rectangle out to about this shape. All right. Once your rectangle set there, we're going to go ahead and we're going to set the size of that rectangle. It is locked into place here in its position. It's not going to slide out away from that position. So now we're going to lock it in for the shape. We're going to go up here to a dimension tool right there. Click on it. And we're going to dimension from this line on the left over to this line on the right. And we're going to make this 2 inches wide. We're going to click on the line on the top, go down to the line on the bottom, and we're going to make it 2 inches tall. So there is my first little block. Finished, and it looks great. Once that's done, it's all black, which means it's fully constrained, which is a very important step. And we're going to go ahead and come up here to the top right corner and finish sketch. All right, now that sketch is finished, we're going to go ahead and come up here next to where we create a sketch. The next thing over is called Extrude. E is the shortcut for Extrude, but you can just click on it there either way. It automatically selects that, or at least it should. If it does not, just click inside of there to select it. And we're going to extrude this in this direction. We're just going to pull it up. And the amount we're going to pull it up, we're going to come over here to distance. We're going to pull it up at 0.115. That is the thickness of the material we're going to be doing. Typically, what you would do is you take a caliper and you'd measure the material you're going to be cutting with a caliper and get it down to the nearest thousandth of an inch. Very important step when you're doing it on the router table. You, however, are all going to be putting on the same little block or same piece that's 0.115 thick. All right, so that's done. That looks great. Next, we're going to add the next little piece of detail to this. The next piece of detail to this, we're going to cut a corner off of it. So we're going to come up here, we're going to create a sketch. Going to create that sketch on that top surface. And we're going to draw a little triangular shape. We're going to use the line command to do that. So come up here to the top left corner again, pick line. Going to draw a line from that corner straight down. Now when you come straight down, it's very important not to lock it into this midpoint. Notice that little triangle showing up? Do not lock it in there. But come down here a ways that again is not on that midpoint. So just click there. Made a little black line there. Looks good. Go ahead and come back to that original point. Click there. And come over to the right. Again, very important not to click there on that to lock it into the midpoint. But click about there. So you got two black lines there, one on the top, one on the side. Now we're going to connect those two lines together. Going to come to the end of that line, shows a little square showing the endpoint. And we're going to go to that other endpoint there. Right there, we have a beautiful square created, or beautiful triangle created. Now we're going to set the size of that. And once again, you're going to come up here to your dimension toolbar. And you're going to go from this corner to that corner. From here to here. And that one, we're going to make it 0.5. And then we're going to go from this one down to this one. And we're going to make it 1. So that's got it in there, perfect size that we want it to be. It's all black. It's great. So finish your sketch. And now we're going to, once again, we're going to extrude. So we're going to click on extrude. Now this time what I want to extrude is I want to extrude this shape. I'm going to click on it. And instead of coming up, I want to go down. When you go down, notice it turns red. That changed it over here to say it's a cut. If it didn't change to cut, go ahead and click here and change to cut. Now, we just want to cut it down at 2.8 inches. We want to cut it down, and we want to go through all of the object. So instead of a distance, we're going to go through all of it. This way, if you start to cut on a different thickness of piece of material, it's going to go ahead and go through all of this object and not just to whatever depth you set it. All right, that looks great. Next, we're going to do a little half circle cutout out of this bottom portion here. So to do that, once again, we're going to create a sketch on this top surface. And we're going to go ahead and put a circle on this line here on the bottom. Now here, on this instance, I do want to lock into that midpoint. So I'm going to draw my circle. I'm going to go over there. A little triangle shows up for the midpoint. I'm going to click and drag out my circle. Looks great there. I do need to set the size of that circle. And the size of that circle is going to be, and I use my dimension toolbar up there to do that. The size of that circle is going to be 1 inch. So I'm going to go 1. And that looks great. Notice it's all black. It's fully constrained. So we're going to go ahead and finish our sketch. Once again, we're going to go up here to extrude in the top left corner. What we're going to extrude, we're going to extrude this piece. We're going to click on it. And once again, we're going to pull it down to cut. Should have changed it to cut over here. And change your distance to all. All right, we got some stuff done there. Now notice this is the thing you do in Fusion, is you do one step at a time. So first we made our block. Then we did our cutout. Then we did our next cutout. Now we're going to do one step again. And that one step is we're going to add a hole to it. So I'm going to go up to create another sketch. I'm going to create the sketch on this top surface. For a hole that goes through, a circular hole, we're not going to draw a circle, but we're going to put a point on it. So we're going to put our point right up here in this top right corner, about there. And then we're going to dimension to that point. From this edge to the point over, we're going to dimension that at 1/2 of an inch at 0.5. From the edge down, we're going to dimension that at 0.5. So now notice that point is all black, locked into place. That's great. We're going to finish our sketch. And we're going to go up to our hole command up on the top bar. So hole, going to click on our point, and that hole is a little bit large. We're going to set our hole to the minimum size that we can put a hole in a piece of plastic, which is 0.13. The reason it's 0.13 is our hole, or our cutter that we're going to use is a 0.125 cutter. You can't go that small. You have to go a little bit larger, and 0.13 is the minimum. Again, the distance we're going to set is all, and we're going to go OK. So again, the little hole here that goes through all of that, and that looks great. All right, once again, we're going to put a larger hole in this over on the other side. So one more time, we're going to create sketch. We're going to put our hole in this top surface. And then we're going to go ahead and create a point. So go up to create, down to point, and put a point over here. We're going to go ahead once more time and click your dimension toolbar. We're going to dimension from the bottom edge up to our hole. And we're going to make that one up 0.75. And then we're going to dimension from the hole over to this edge. And we're going to make it over 0.5. So there's my hole, looking really good. I'm going to go ahead and finish my sketch. My point, all fully constrained. We're going to finish our sketch. And we're going to go ahead and create a hole on that point. Now this hole we're going to do a little bit larger just because I want you to see how to do a larger hole. And we're going to make it a 0.5 diameter hole right there like so. And again, the distance, we want to go to all. And we're going to go OK. And there that piece is. So there's that piece created. Looks great. We need to go ahead and save this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up to the File and down to Save. Now, yours is going to look much different than mine because I have a lot of subdirectories created. But we're going to go ahead and go here. You should have one called My First Project. So you're going to click on My First Project. And why don't we just save it there under that root directory under My First Project and name this 2x2 router table block. 2x2 router table block. Save it there, and that'll be great. And one thing I didn't mention is this was just to draw the block itself. Now we're going to have one more video that will show you, or the next video I should say, will show you how to create the cam portion of it, and we're going to do a post process. So there we go. Good luck.